This is my Sony Alpha custom button setup for photography. There are hundreds of ways to do this, but I wanted to share with you my workflow to help speed things up for you. So the camera I have here is a Sony A7 IV. I do the same thing for my Sony A7R5, and it will work with all Sony Alpha cameras, so whatever you have, this should work for you. My name is Mike Will, m.visuals. I'm a Sony European Imaging Ambassador. Here is my custom button setup. So the first thing you'll need to do if you want to follow along and add some custom buttons yourself is hit the menu key. So on the A7 IV, it's up here, and you'll find that on your Alpha camera. Go to the setup and you scroll down from setup to number 4 for me, which is dial customize. Hit dial customize, hit the camera. So there's also a video custom you can do, which will not be in this video, but we might do something about that. Let me know in the comments if you do want to hear about my video custom camera button setup. But we're going to go to photo, hit custom key dial set, and we go there. And now you'll see we're in a new menu system. So we're going to start off on the back of the camera. The menu is R2. I always customize my wheel. So the back of the wheel is my ISO. You guys can see if I wheel that quickly up and down, the ISO will be changing. This is super important for me. I shoot 99% of my stuff in manual, so I'm very keen to be able to adjust my ISO at literally the flick of a button. And so I customize that first. On the menu you guys can see right now, it's number 4 if you want to change the wheel. After the wheel, the center button here in the middle, it's called number 2 on rear 2. I have that silent shooting, great for things like street photography. If you want to be incognito, quick tap of a button, we've got silent shooting on, tap it again, it's off. So that's really great to have on there as well, and super easy to get to. Obviously my thumb can reach that very easily. Also on rear 2, the joystick, I use that as like a center focus. You guys can hear that. I think they call it focus standard. Cool, I call it center focus, center lock. It's just easy. It means if I'm like rushing around and the focus isn't quite working, I can literally just touch that button and I know it's going to bring it back to the center point, which should be where I want to focus, and then therefore that's just a great way to have that really speedy at the tap of the finger. The rest of rear 2, I don't really change because it has on here as well, so it's kind of handy. ISO you can also then tap on the right hand side. On the left hand side we have the drive mode, so I keep that as drive mode. Display, obviously the top button, again, very important to keep that because then you can change that instantly. And then I actually don't customize the bottom one because I don't want to flick that accidentally and have something happen that I don't want to have happen. Moving up to rear 1. So next up, the menu here, this is on the top section of the camera. I personally don't touch the AEL button. What I do change is C1. This becomes crop mode. So this becomes super, they call it APS-C Super 35. I use that as a crop mode so I can punch in to a photo. So let's say I'm shooting on a 70 to 200. I'm shooting at 200. I want to get a little bit more compression and I want to actually punch in a little bit. I can hit C1 and that will zoom in a little bit to become a crop sensor. Obviously you lose some of the quality of the image, but that's fine for social media. I think that's great. And on the A7RV, for instance, that's not going to make a difference at all with the megapixels that it already has. Makes a bit of a difference for the A7 IV, obviously, but I think that's a great thing to add on if you do want to then punch in and be able to get a tighter frame. Next up, C3, which very confusingly in the menu system is number 4. That's annoying. But C3 I have as touch focus. So I move that away from the trash can and I have it up on here because I found myself absolutely accidentally tapping the trash can and it would turn the tap focus off. Then I would go to tap to take a photo. It wouldn't be there. I know it would be only a very quick button to tap it to turn it back on again. However, sometimes there's a difference between getting the shot, not getting the shot. So I moved it to C3. So that means I can feel every time I touch it. Tap focus is a big part of what I use in content creation. So big fan of that, and C3 helps me capture those moments. Then we come to the top, we've got C2. So the top button here, that's very simple. That's just gonna be focus area. I usually shoot on wide, but that also gives me the option to then shoot on, for instance, spot mode or zone or whatever it might be. So very easy way to tap through them very quickly and change my focus mode if I want to change. Finally, the wheel/dial. We've already been over the wheel. That's obviously the ISO. These two I don't touch. This one here on this side, whatever this is, you change that when you're in aperture priority. So if I'm in aperture priority and I want to make sure my exposure is slightly underexposed, this is the way that I do that, by pulling that down, or twisting it down. And if I want to have something slightly overexposed, I can then twist it to then overexposed and then lock it. And that means that everything's locked into place. So I'm sure you guys know what that button does, but if you don't, hopefully that helps. And lastly, I know the whole point of custom buttons is to stay out of the menus, But what I do want you guys to do is go into the menus and find the file numbers and change your file name to customize it. So we simply do that by going to the menu, we hit File/Folder Settings, and you can see here, Set File Name. So I want you guys to set up your own custom name, so that means you know those files are yours, not the DCS, whatever it is it keeps and obviously has when the camera comes to you. So for instance, mine is M4W. I know that means it's mine, so Mike, and then the 4, A7IV, my last name Will. So that's how I have it set up. But if I have my A7R5, it's M.R5. So that's how I set that up. So then I know before I've even looked at the photo, all I have to do is look at the file name. I'll know exactly what camera that was set up. So then it's easy for me to know instantly what camera I shot that on, and it's also easy for other people to know if you're sharing files, that was my photo, and I know if I'm borrowing someone's file, if they have a custom name, I'll know that was their photo. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about customizing your Sony Alpha cameras. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Big up for watching. Catch you guys in the next one soon.